We'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I wanted to welcome everybody to the meeting today, staff and residents and folks who are here for presentations. And we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start, first of all, Commissioner Peters will be attending the meeting virtually, so I just need a motion and a second to get. Okay. Three motions in 3 seconds. Commissioner Peters, apparently they want you to join us, so all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Commissioner Peters, you're welcome. Good to have you on board this morning.
Commissioner, excuse me, Chair?
Yes?
Could you state?
The maker of the motion was Commissioner Latvala, and Commissioner Scott was the second. I have no idea which three of each, but we're going to pick those. So, okay. Also take the opportunity to thank Deputy Mike Winnick, Deputy Kevin McSweeney, and Deputy Jeff Atkinson for taking care of us today. As always, appreciate your being here and taking care of us. And we will start with the invocation led by Commissioner Flowers, and then Commissioner Scheer will do the pledge.
Those that are able, if you could stand, please. Dear Father, we are just so thankful for being in your presence on today, for giving us the direction, the heart, and the mind to make decisions on behalf of the residents of Pinellas County. Today, though, we want to change our focus, and we want to pray for those who are unable to pray for themselves. We want to pray for those who are sick and shut in, who are not able to pray individually. We pray for them collectively. For those who are ailing within their bodies, no matter what the illness, we say a prayer of healing for them this morning. For those who may be experiencing financial hardships, we pray for a special blessing for them, because we truly understand that in these days it is most difficult. But we know that you've already said in your word that you will give us everything that we need, to include the desires of our heart. We pray for those who have mental illness. We ask that they know that coming into the comfort of your fold will give them the security and the safety that they need to hear and feel. We pray for the families of those who have selected to serve in elected office. It is not easy being an elected official, nor is it easy being a family member. But we ask that you continue to give them grace and that you continue to show them mercy and give them peace. For the staff here in Pinellas County, we are thankful to have them at our disposal so that they are carrying out not only the will of this board, but the will of the people. We ask safe traveling grace and mercy for Barry. We ask that you bring him back safe and sound. We ask especially a prayer for the men and women who serve, both in the military as well as local law enforcement. Every day they are putting their lives on the line, and sometimes they do not receive the accolades that they deserve. But this prayer today acknowledges to them that we are safer within our communities because of their sacrifice. For the firefighters, EMTs, and anyone else who falls under the first responder category, we are thankful for them because they have shown this community that they are willing to go above and beyond so that we are safe. But more importantly, Lord, we are just thankful that we are here in your presence. It could have been that our eyes did not open to see another beautiful day that you have provided, but you counted it so, and we thank you for that. We ask that we continue to serve with your guidance, with your heart, and with your temperament. Let all those that love Jesus Christ, that worship, no matter what the denomination, let every heart say amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. That was beautiful. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see if I've got everything. Okay, this morning we have a couple of presentations, and and awards, if you will. First, Black History Month proclamation, and then we'll follow that up with our Tampa Bay Community Water Wise Awards for a family that has done some amazing work. So first, we'll start with Black History Month, and I'm just going to say a few words, and then I'll invite the team up, and we'll read the proclamation to you then. So you wouldn't have known that located between the city limits of Safety Harbor and Clearwater, tucked away in the middle of a residential neighborhood, was a 3/4 acre cemetery site dating back to 1896. Without the tireless efforts of some, the area would have gone unrecognized. Today, because of all the hard work, I'm looking at you all over there, because of all the hard work, the cemetery is now called Whispering Souls African American Cemetery, has been historically marked, and going forward will be known for its important part of Black history in Pinellas County. So as we recognize Black History Month and its significance to us, we also recognize the importance of Whispering Souls African American Cemetery to that history. The Board of County Commissioners would like to honor and thank Jacqueline Hayes, President of the Board for Whispering Souls African American Cemetery, and the volunteers who made for their efforts to bring the cemetery back to life, to ensure that the preservation and history continues on. Without the continued efforts of those who have hard labored and worked tirelessly to enlighten, bring dignity, and continue the preservation efforts of this cemetery, it would have gone unknown and undone. Thankfully, last year the cemetery was bestowed a historic marker acknowledging the great importance the cemetery plays in Black history and its values as a landmark in Pinellas County. And thank you to Chair Scott, then Chair Scott, for the efforts of bringing that marker to the cemetery. Jacqueline, we are honored to have you here today to accept the Black History Month proclamation on behalf of Whispering Souls Cemetery. So if you'll come forward, and your team would come forward as well, that would be great. I am looking for the list of names that I made sure they were here. Now, of course, do you think I had the names in front of me? So what we're going to do is if you'll just say your name for me and come down here, I'd just like to make sure that you all are recognized for the work. Say it again? Laura Kepner. Shirley Brown. Scott Long. Tammy Smith. Glenn Kids, and Jacqueline Hayes. So I'm going to read the proclamation, present it to you, and then give you a few minutes to say words, okay? Whereas Black History Month is an opportunity to commemorate and celebrate the historical and present-day contributions of Black Americans, and whereas Black History Month originated as Negro History Week during the month of February in 1926, when noted historian Dr. Carter Woodson launched to extend and deepen the study of African American history, to not only recognize great men in history, but to celebrate the contributions of an entire race. And whereas Africans and Black Americans have contributed much to the wealth and prosperity this country currently enjoys, and whereas Black American contributions are essential to American history, and it is important to understand as we take the time to celebrate the immeasurable impacts made by those who have risen above injustice and enriched our society. And whereas the members of Whispering Souls African American Cemetery, Inc., as well as volunteers, worked tirelessly in restoring this historical sacred ground, which in 2025 was honored with the historical marker to commemorate the historical significance and presence in Pinellas County, and we pause to applaud their efforts with gratitude in uplifting Black history in Pinellas County. Whereas Pinellas County will continue to support efforts of inclusivity, combating racism, recognizing the contributions of Black Americans to our county, state, and nation, while ensuring that all citizens are treated with respect, equality, and dignity. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that February 2026 be recognized as Black History Month.
A few things I would like to say. What an honor. I think about Black history. We've always celebrated Black history throughout the country, and now we're bringing Black history to Pinellas County, Florida. It's so amazing, so very amazing. I'd like to say some thanks. I'd like to start out by thanking Matt Spohr. Now, Matt Spohr, we go back to our Safety Harbor days. Matt Spohr, he was the first government official that we met with when we were getting ourselves together in 2017. And Matt Spohr said, let's work together and let's get this cemetery cleaned up. Okay. I'd like to thank Commissioner Eggers, who is not only a wonderful man, but he's one of our supporters. He helped us clean up Whispering Souls. I mean, actually clean up. So much so that we didn't recognize him in a suit. Like, are you sure that's him? That's him. I mean, he got down and dirty and did the work. I'd like to recognize my board, Nothing Without My People. Scott Long, Laura Kepner, Shirley Brown, Tammy Smith, Glenn Atkins. Glenn actually came up with the name of Whispering Souls African American Cemetery, formerly known as the Safety Harbor Colored Cemetery. I'd like to thank Tom Schofield from the Historic Preservation Board, who we met in 2018, and he said, get yourself together, come back, and we'll get you a marker. I'm like, oh, okay, what is that? He said, just get yourself together and come back. So he honored that when in 2025 when we got our historic marker. I'd like to thank Tom Almonte for guiding us through the county and how we can access funding to help us, take care of Whispering Souls. I'd like to thank Commissioner Brian Scott for doing such a great job emceeing our historic preservation ceremony. I mean, he didn't know it was going to be as big and wild as it was, because we were thankful for our historical marker, but we had also had a $100,000 memorial recently installed, and also the city of Clearwater had installed a fence. So we used that as an opportunity to thank everyone, every government official that had their hands in the restoration of Whispering Souls. I was asked to speak a little bit about our struggles and our achievements. Now, interesting, we haven't had a lot of struggles. Once Lou Claudio brought the cemetery to me, and we decided we were going to clean it up, we didn't struggle, we didn't fight. The community gathered together, and people of all races, creeds, colors, socioeconomic backgrounds decided that we, as a unit, were going to save this African American cemetery, once again called the Safety Harbor Colored Cemetery. We claimed it, and we decided that there needed to be a change. So collective as a community, we got it done. Now, in the beginning, we got a lot of press. We were always on the news, but then after a while, we stopped getting press because our story was too perfect. Nobody wanted to hear about a community of people coming together and saving an African American cemetery. Someone said we were too hallmarky, but nobody was falling in love, It's just like, everybody's coming together and we're gonna do this. And we did it. So we just quietly did our thing. We didn't fight. We fought with no one. Matt said, you don't have to fight City Hall, we can work together. Okay, then that's what we're going to do. And we're a perfect example of people coming together to right a wrong. That's the most important thing, to right this wrong. And the first question Matt Spohr asked me when we had a meeting at City Hall in Safety Harbor, he said, "Where did you find these people? How did you bring these people together?" I said, "Most of them I didn't even know. The word went out and they came, and then they kept coming. And for all different reasons, I have grandparents buried there and other family members, but it was just basically to right the wrong. So I want to focus on our achievements because there's been so many. We're a nonprofit organization. We started in 2017. We're a nonprofit organization. We have legal ownership of Whispering Souls. For years, we were just like, we had these squatters' rights. We were changing the name and doing all these things and had no legal paperwork. Everyone assumed that we had, but we got that taken care of, and you know, we were able to apply for grants as a result of becoming a nonprofit. Like I said, our fence was donated by the city of Clearwater, and we have a $100,000 memorial out there with all the names of all the interred that are buried there, which is amazing, which helped bring the Black community together. I mean, in the beginning, they were very non-trusting of me because I was an outsider. Black Yankee with Black Yankee ways, looking and dressing funny. I don't know what you're gonna do out here. But once we started moving and grooving and cleaning up our cemetery, the community started to fall in line when they can see their relative's name on this beautiful memorial. And so we're so proud of that. We were able to fund the memorial through a grant from the state of Florida, $100,000. We got $50,000 from the state of Florida, and then Silen Abbey graciously matched the amount, so we got our memorial. We lost most of our trees during the last storm, but the city of Safety Harbor graciously donated mature and young trees. So we were able to build more trees to make it beautiful. And then recently, we were awarded a grant from the county, Pinellas County, so now we're gonna have an irrigation system. Oh my God. So the blessings just keep coming and coming and coming for Whispering Souls. I just want everyone to know that we are feeling truly blessed this Black History Day, and we are feeling truly honored. Thank you very much.
Jacqueline, again, thank you and your team. Really appreciate that. Obviously, the story was a community coming together, united, Safety Harbor, Clearwater, the county, working together. So great program. Our second presentation is Tampa Bay Community Water-Wise Programs. And as we all know, that water is a precious resource, and so we encourage and try to encourage folks to take care of their lawns in a responsible way. So the Community Wise Water Program was started in 1998 to recognize property owners who are leading the way in outdoor water conservation. The winning landscapes each year are excellent examples of Florida-friendly landscaping practices at work. This annual awards program is sponsored by Tampa Bay Water, a board that Commissioner Peters and I sit on this year, and as well as people from the county, Hillsborough County, Pasco County, and the three largest cities in each of those counties. This annual award program is sponsored by Tampa Bay Water, the University of Florida, IFAS, Pinellas County Extension's Florida Friendly Landscaping Program. This year, we are recognizing a winner in the single-family residential category. The 2025 Community-Wise Awards in the residential category is presented to Michelle Burt and David Culp of Tierra Verde, and I'd like to ask them both if they would come forward, and the Florida Friendly Landscaping team with our extension to join me up here for some film that will be presented on the screen as I continue to talk with the film going on. So please come on up. Okay, we going yet? There we go. Michelle and David have been transforming their landscape since 2020. Their goal was to create a landscape that is attractive and low in maintenance. Are you going to be running this, the tape in the back, or am I supposed to? Yes? Okay, you're running it, all right. That is attractive and low in maintenance while protecting the environment. The landscape was altered from declining turf grass to a lush and subtropical landscape using plants that fit the site condition. The backyard includes many fruits producing as well as a pollinator attracting plants, Over time, the plants identified as non-native invasive were removed and replaced with numerous native plants. Most plants are drought and salt tolerant and withstood the 5-foot storm surge in 2024, which just is amazing. Michelle and David replaced high-volume irrigation with micro-irrigation throughout the landscape, reducing water use significantly. A rain sensor was installed to avoid unneeded irrigation cycles, while also collecting rainwater for hand watering to further offset water use. This landscape serves as a model for how to create an attractive and enjoyable garden, which protects our water resource and provides for wildlife. On behalf of the residents of Pinellas County and this commission, I would like to thank Michelle and David for their great accomplishments in transforming their landscape to a water-wise landscape. So, congratulations.
Well, I want to, first of all, I want to thank Tampa Bay Water and Pinellas County and the extension, particularly Doris and Melissa. And really the WaterWise Award has increased our awareness of and knowledge of conserving water, and kind of goes along with the original idea of creating sanctuary in our own backyard. So again, thank you very much. Would you like to add?
Commissioners, come on up. Come on, we're going to move around to the front. You all are going to be in as well. The two of you on each side and then in the middle. Right out here, sir. Right out here in the middle. Both in the middle. A couple of you on this side. A couple there.
I would like to introduce myself. I'm Doris Heitzman. I'm the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program Manager. And I have the honor to run that program together with Melissa West, my coworker. The Tampa Bay Water provides this really great opportunity to reach out into the community to find all these great examples of water-wise landscapes. I also want to give a shout out to Pinellas County Communications. Specifically, where is he? Is he here? John Carkeet. He promoted the Waterwise program like crazy this year. So we had the most out of all 3 counties. We had 35 applications. And the fun part was the first yard we visited, the first landscape, was Michelle's and David's. And so we went on for about 2 months to visit all the yards and judge the yards. And it turned out this was the winner. So I commend the two again for all the great work they do. In addition, they stick out in their neighborhood in a good way. They are a role model for doing things differently and doing them right. Having a yard that is drought tolerant, looks attractive, and is low in maintenance. That is really the goal and what we are looking for. So thank you, Michelle and David. Thank you very much.
All right. Appreciate both of you for being here today and to the Extension program for the work that you all are doing as well. All right, we're going to go on to citizens to be heard this morning. We have just a few, and we'll start with Chris Peterson. Is Chris Peterson here, please? Chris, yep, right up there, and you have 3 minutes, Chris.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, good morning. My name is Chris Peterson for Fortify Financial. We are a PACE provider under the Florida PACE Funding Agency, or the FPFA. As you all know, there's been an ongoing issue with the FPFA and several of the counties and tax collectors throughout the state of Florida. I wanted to give you a brief update. For those of you that don't recall, PACE is a way to finance critical improvements such as roofs, impact windows and doors, and HVAC systems, and you pay it back on your tax roll. In October of 2022, there was a court ruling that allowed the FPFA to operate statewide. During that time, we received over 1,000 inquiries from residents of Pinellas County looking to utilize our financing. We ended up doing about 170 plus assessments before the counties and the tax collector pushed back on us. They said, we don't want this. We believe home rule is the way to do this. So we did stop, and we did then go to Tallahassee and fight for SB 770, myself included, worked with then President Pasadomo to get SB 770 passed, which was a host of consumer protections and codified home rule. However, the counties and tax collectors continued to press the issue. They asked for a rehearing. That was unsuccessful. Then they appealed that. That, it too, was unsuccessful. And then they asked to go to the Supreme Court here in Florida. And that ruling came in on December 17th, 2025, and that did uphold the lower court ruling, which specifically states that the tax collectors need to collect these assessments as part of their ministerial duties. Unfortunately, several of the counties have continued to fight this at a great cost to the taxpayers and frankly a detriment to your property owners. And my colleague, Chris Nard, will get into that in a little bit deeper. But, you know, a couple of things I wanted to touch on. One is that just because the Supreme Court ruled that those assessments were legally originated does not mean that we get to operate here statewide anymore. Like that's been solved legislatively. SB 770 is very clear that we need to come to the county and get an ILA in order to operate. So if Pinellas County does not want to offer PACE financing, then that's absolutely fine. We're not going to be anywhere near here, no problem. However, that doesn't mean that those assessments that we originated during that time weren't valid, because they are. and that was upheld. So I know that there's nothing that necessarily the commission can do. I wanted to make sure that you understood where we were coming from and why this, the counties and the tax collectors continue to spend taxpayer dollars fighting something that has been decided 3 times now. So again, I'm here for questions. I can follow up with some of the paperwork and the documents that kind of support my comments, but that's all I had to say today. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Chris Nard.
I'm Chris Nard. I'm the Oh, I should have paid more attention when my associate spoke. I'm Chris Nard. I'm the president of Fortify Financial. And I just wanted to elaborate on a couple of things Chris said. This dispute has gone on for almost 3 years now and has cost Fortify, the FPFA, the other people that write with the FPFA, millions of dollars. I can show the legal bills for all this. And it's been a huge disruption for everybody. And I'm afraid what gets lost in this is the disruption for the people in Pinellas County who borrowed this money to hurricane harden their homes. So as Chris mentioned, we did about 173 assessments in Pinellas County. Now those are all valid liens on the property, but the tax collector didn't put them on the tax roll. So they get billed directly, but only about half of those people pay. The other 50% haven't paid, and they are now 2 years behind on these assessments. And if these things don't get on the tax roll by March 31st, these people could go 3 years behind. So again, remember the 173 is just Fortify. There are several other people that write with the FPFA through this process. What's going to happen is those people are going to go to refinance, and they haven't paid on these assessments for several years. They're not going to be able to refinance unless they can get those liens removed from the property. The people that get PACE assessments frequently have moderate FICO scores, so they may have difficulty refinancing to begin with, let alone burdening them with the assessments that they haven't paid. We really think that we should work hard to get this resolved so these people don't continue to fall further behind on these liens that are recorded on the property. And I think continuing to fight this, they may not realize that they owe the money because it's not on the tax roll. And then for the half the people that do pay, I think it's a little bit of an odd message that this continues to be fought, even though these people signed up for the hurricane hardening improvement to be financed on their property taxes. So we're here. I mean, there's always a lot of confusion about what a PACE assessment is. I'd be more than happy to sit down with anybody and go through what these files look like, what people do, what they got for the improvements. We've only ever had 4 complaints, and that was when we withdrew from the county and people couldn't get the assessments they thought they were going to get closed. So I think we've had very good experience. So again, 3 years is a long time. There's been a lot of court decisions through that. You guys may have other reasons why you continue to fight this. It has a real negative impact on a lot of homeowners in Pinellas. Thank you.
Thank you. David Ballard Geddes Jr.
I'm not quite so sure I understand what he was talking about, but that seemed pretty serious in regards to charging the residents. David Ballard Geddes Jr., I live on Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. Growing up in the area, I witnessed tremendous environmental devastation upon the ecosystem through unforthrightful politics and their developers clear-cutting the land in total disrespect of the indigenous tree canopy, completely lacking concern for the established plant life, paving over animal habitat, contaminating the lakes and the rivers, overpumping the aquifer, and replacing the groundwater with temporarily treated sewage wastewater, injecting treated wastewater directly into the groundwater supply, circumstantially cutting costs prior to development. I witnessed fire as a way of clearing the land preceding large-scale HOA and deed-restricted housing projects, burning everything in existence, replacing the landscape with genetically modified grass, equipping every home with a sprinkler system designed to waste water, watering the perfidiousness of nothing that puts food on our tables, destroying our cypress wetlands for cypress mulch, reducing our God-given wetlands to thistles coupled with lawn pesticides and lawn fertilizers. I've seen lakes completely drained, relocated, and replaced elsewhere, creating an imbalance in the ecostructure as the government grants its developers mitigation credits, systematically eviscerating everything so as to create its own dominion based on waste and desecration as legislation plays God rather than following the natural balance created by Almighty God. The biggest code enforcement infraction of all has been the systematic desecration committed by the government and its development practices, desecrating the graces of God's grace, creating a political imbalance in the cycle of life upon which to manifest the importance of its unsovereign overreach in roundly giving rise to its de facto lawmaking and its built-up code enforcement regulations, when in fact the falsehoods of your body in government is the biggest violation of code in all time. Thank you.
Thank you, David. L.S. Tucker.
Good morning, Commissioners. Everyone, my name is L.J. Tucker, 303 Scarlett Boulevard, Oldsmar, Florida. I'm the owner of Tucker Enterprise Services. It's a tree service based out of Oldsmar. I've been servicing the Tampa Bay area for over the past 25 years. I'm happy to see that we're making progress in changing the tree code. From what I've seen at the last meeting, that's just a part of a bigger problem with the tree code. And that second part, I got a handout because I know I'm not going to be able to get through this in this 3 minutes. So the overview is where I see the biggest problem being a certified arborist. It took years of practice, studying, and we have to do CEUs to continue because things change. The problem with Pinellas County, I love this county, I was born and raised here. The problem is we don't have certified arborists. They call them environmental specialists. There's no training. So when I talk, and I try to talk to somebody, they won't meet us on property to do any evaluations. They have a clipboard, they just check in a box. And the problem with the way your code is not having certified arborists to represent the tree industry, which is the industry standard, being an ISA certified arborist. You guys get backlogged and you sub this work out to surveyors. I've met surveyors on a job site more than I met a county official to talk about a tree. And so when I send an email and I want to talk to somebody, we're talking two different languages because they don't have the proper training. I love getting manicures and pedicures. Guess what? You have to have training and a certificate to do hands and feet, but we're sending employees out to evaluate trees. That's a problem because they're doing an evaluation based on emotion. One of your biggest taxpayers in Pinellas County is Crown. It's taken, I got called in as a certified arborist to do evaluation of the tree that got denied by the county. So I called the inspector, told her what was going on. She said, and I quote, "You don't have jurisdiction over commercial property." I said, "I understand. I'm just letting you know before I go out, I'm gonna go and evaluate the tree." So I come back with my findings, and they basically started an attack on Crown. Now, check this. This has been going on for 7 or 8 months. They just last week emailed Crown and asked them to resubmit a permit. I have the email thread and everything since this started in June of 25. And this hazardous tree that I evaluate is still standing, and they're getting complaints from their neighbors because if this tree fells, their property will be affected.
If you could leave that right with the late young lady there, I appreciate it.
There's 7 folders with the same exact
Okay,
thing for each one.
perfect. Thank you for your
Thank you for your time. You guys be blessed.
Yep. Okay. Greg Pound?
Greg Pound, Largo, Florida. I just want to bring to your attention it's the old same old thing here. I filed this motion. It's called Emergency Plaintiff's Response to Defendant's Abuse of Process. A motion for relief from this pro se status, sanctions, and unpaid medical bills. So this here I filed thinking that this judgment, final judgment, was of $17,000 was in my behalf in a car accident that I was in, where someone smashed in the back of my car, Progressive Insurance Company. Come to find out, it's a judgment against me. And, you know, once you see the corruption that's done, when you have judges working with the attorneys for Progressive Insurance Company and and using first name basis with the judge, to me, this isn't new for me because, you know, I've been exposing the corruption here in this county for over 20 years. Okay, you've got $50 million now, St. Pete fraud, racketeering on your county, stealing all the money. You got money laundering going on. And this is my mother-in-law has been the comptroller for, what, 35 years? Okay, she died of the COVID along with Bernie McCabe, the child molester, the guy who was adopting children like everyone else in the county at the top positions, adopting children, using them for sex and getting paid for it. Come on. See, I mean, it goes right down. City Councilman John Bryant, all of them, and this goes on and on. Corruption has always been since the beginning of time, since the top down, not the bottom up. The police, that's why I ran for sheriff. You brought 3 attorneys out to run against me, which made me a shoo-in candidate. I won by default, and the reason I was running was to clean up the corruption in the county. Okay? That's what needs to be cleaned up. It's out of control. And once you have an attorney as your sheriff in Pinellas County, this is a problem. His wife's attorney, he's an attorney. Okay, I found all the stuff that's going on with your chief judge, your new chief judge. Nothing's being done. Okay, to go ahead and have someone smash into my car, total my car out, blow my neck and back out, leave me with thousands of doctor bills, all kinds of problems and issues, and then you're going to fine me. And so this is what is called abuse of process. Look up the legal term abuse of process. That's why the plastic surgeon killed his attorney. Read that case. Study that case out. It's a high-profile case now in Pinellas County. Read the case and see what they did to this plastic surgeon to steal his money. Okay? And it's called abuse of process. And it goes on and on. We're out of control in corruption in this county. We got a major problem, and it needs to be cleaned up.
Okay, do we have Giancarlo Planzo online?
Yes, sir, we do. Mr. Planzo, can you please raise your virtual hand? We'll go ahead and unmute you. When you're unmuted, please state your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you?
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hey, my name is John Claudio Planzo. I'm a resident in Palm Harbor, Florida. Forgive me, guys. I don't know if this is the right forum to engage this conversation, but I'm here today to speak on the Sutherland Bayou boat ramp. Just as I would like to get involved with the city to help this project along. I don't know what the barriers are to help this boat ramp get to the caliber that Seminole boat ramp is and Anclote boat ramp is. How can I help? How can I get involved? What are the barriers? I would love to lead the community, be it fundraising, community involvement, ideas, help the planning departments of the county. Forgive me, I just don't know where to start, and I'd like to help.
Well, thank you for reaching out. We have Paul Causey in our Parks and Lands group, and we also have a Park and Lands committee of residents. So there's a couple ways to get involved, but if you want, I think you probably should reach out to Paul Causey at the county and give him your thoughts and what you'd like to do and see how he can, how you can plug in to be effective and get things accomplished.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Commissioner, how do you spell his last name?
Cozzie.
Okay, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And thank you for calling in.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be heard. I appreciate it.
God, you really enjoy that, don't you? One meeting away. All right. Amendment by resolution supplementing the fiscal 2026 budget, recognizing unanticipated fund balance and adjusting revenue for requesting departments. It's a carry forward amendment. Jill?
Mr. Chair, the public hearing was properly advertised and an affidavit of publication has also been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk, and the matter is properly before the board to be heard.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody want a presentation? Yes?
I think it'd be appropriate. There's just some really big numbers here.
That's fine.
And for
No
anybody in the
problem.
public that's watching, I think it would be.
Sounds good. Good.
We'll bring Chris Rose up.
Thank you, Chris.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Rose, Office of Management and Budget. So there are two amendments before you, number 4 and number 5. Number 4 is the carry forward amendment. On the operating side, it is items that we anticipated would be spent in '25. We budgeted them, and we projected that they would get spent, and they just didn't get spent. So the liability carries forward into '26. So we need to carry forward the funding to represent it. There are no personnel costs, it's just operating costs that are in there. And then the capital side is just a true up of projects, same kind of thing, so.
So, any questions for Chris? Okay. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Might as well stay close by just in case we need to do the same in the next item. Okay, do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Flowers. Pull up the board, please.
And I'm a yes, Mr.
Oh, sorry about that, Commissioner. That is a unanimous vote. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Agenda item number 5 is an amendment by resolution supplementing the fiscal year 2026 budget, recognizing unanticipated revenue and realigning appropriations for requesting departments and funds. The public hearing was properly advertised and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk and the matter is properly before the board to be heard.
Thank you. Chris, come on up and give us a summary like we did on the first one. The first one was purely carry forward from projects that are still in play, from
Yes, sir.
items that weren't spent last year.
That's correct.
This
That was
one.
number 4. Number 5 is a little more by choice, but again, it is a budget amendment that, I just lost my document, forgive me, that BDRS is the first one, and it is recognizing, no, I have the wrong document in front of me again. My apologies,
Take your
Commissioner.
time.
I hit it while I stepped up here and took it off the screen. So BDRS is the first one. We have 2 items for BDRS, and I am going off of memory while I'm still trying to pull this up.
Chris,
That's coming up for me, thank you.
Commissioner, I can maybe start.
Go ahead, Joe.
while he's looking it up. So this budget amendment is all related to unanticipated, unplanned revenues. So each item, and Chris can delineate those, but basically, we're realigning the departmental budgets and the funds relative to revenues that, when you approve the budget in September, were unanticipated. So they're all about getting more money, but putting it in the right place. You got it?
So I'll work off of paper. So Commissioners, BDRS has 2 items in here, and the first one is the outside agencies that we use to do inspections and plans review. And so permits are up, so we have to staff up to get it with the outside agencies. We don't put that in the budget because we don't want to anticipate that that will happen, so we're adding it to the budget in this amendment. The second one is with contractor licensing. It is closing out 2 items that have been there since before I was budget director, and it's just a paper transaction. We're just essentially putting the money in and putting it right back in the general fund. After that, we're recognizing a number of different grants in SES, in emergency management, and a couple of other places, human services. So just recognizing grant money. The final one is CPM, and we're putting forward some money to do an abstract on each of the leases that we have out there. And those leases are just something we hadn't anticipated, but we want to make sure that we go through every single lease so that we don't leave any money on the table. And then some money towards reserves. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Chris? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I guess just kind of looking through this, so maybe I glossed over it before, but there's $43,000 for healthcare for homeless healthcare. Is that for our center?
That's a grant that we did not anticipate that is coming in, so we're just recognizing that grant and spending it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Scott on the motion, Commissioner Flowers on the second. Please pull up the voting card.
And I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. And that's unanimous. I appreciate that. We'll move on to consent agenda items 6 through 8. Does anybody want to pull any for conversation? Yes.
I just had a quick comment on 7.
On number 7?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and make your comment. Unless you want to get into it, I would approve the others and then take this up separately.
There's just one staff question.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. So just to be clear, that accepting this grant does not pre-commit the board to any future Vision Zero implementation, especially physical measures like fencing and concrete barrier walls along the shoulder.
Working through the grant does not commit Pinellas County to any future capital or operating expenditures related to implementing recommendations or other findings that could come from this work over the next 4 years. It is possible, and you can see in the materials, we do refer to demonstration projects, but those would be delineated as a result of the grant activities over time.
And that any shoulder, it would come back to the board for approval.
Assuming it's within your, there could be operational expenses related to, within our match or related to the grant funding execution that would not rise to the level of board approval, but would have to have supplemental approval in order to do so. Depends on how much money it is.
You mean for newly identified projects?
Correct, or projects within the grant scope itself that, might involve expenditures within the grant.
Above a certain level?
Correct.
That would come back?
That's correct.
But so in theory, staff or somebody could close a shoulder of the road in this grant and in the future without board approval.
I'm going to ask Kelly to come up. She has much better working familiarity. This is really intended to be more study and more analysis than it is to be execution, but it does refer to demonstration projects, and I think that's the commissioner's question.
Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly Hammer-Levy, the Public Works Director. So what a barrier might include is something just like what you have out front of the courthouse. It's like those bollards with a chain, and what you're trying to discourage is what used to happen at that location before those were put in, is people just bolting across the street to get to the courthouse and getting hit. And so that's the type of demonstration barrier that is one option that might come out of the grant. But also that includes our RFBs, the, flashing the crosswalks, and those types of more passive pedestrian safety measures, trying to get people to cross where it's safe, at intersections, at, where we have, safe crossings. And we're trying to encourage people not to bolt across roads, which is unfortunately what is happening along a lot of our corridors. The other piece of this is, like the IVA technologies that we have that detect pedestrian activities, so that we can report that out to law enforcement. That happened last spring training. We have the IVA technology on Drew Street, and it was detecting pedestrians just crossing the road to go to spring training in a very dangerous part of Drew Street. We were able to get that data over to Clearwater PD so that they could come out and start addressing that activity so that people aren't getting hurt.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, this wouldn't, it's a multi-year study, obviously, but so like approving this today, which, I'm supporting moving forward with, I just don't want to make sure it, 5 years from now, we're going to look at this study and say we're going to permanently close a shoulder down on 62nd Avenue, and that's not coming, because that's mostly where the study is kind of looking at, east to west bound of like the middle of the county, not, downtown Clearwater or the Phillies. It's not there. It's, kind of Wheelman, Largo area more of where it's at. So I just want to make sure that if a shoulder were to be closed in 3 years, 4 years permanently, any permanent shoulder closing would still have to come back to the board for approval.
I'm not even sure that's in the scope of what we're looking at. These are very small improvements to try to improve safety, but a road closure,
Shoulder closure.
Well, again, we can't put anything in the clear zone, like build a wall in the clear zone that a car could run into. We're not allowed to do that by law. So, that, if it were a major capital improvement, we would have to go through design, permitting, we would have to go out to bid, bring it back here, and you guys would bless it. But I just wanted to be open and honest that some of these improvements, like the RRFBs and some of these like bollard type things where we're saying don't cross here, cross at the RFB, that type of thing happens all the time. We install those types of safety measures in school districts. We get requests all the time from around the community to create safer crossings.
Well, okay, I feel satisfied moving forward, just not a permanent, if there's a fence.
Well, I think this study is going to identify a lot of projects, perhaps long-term, that will come back to us at some point, but also some examples along the way that they want to implement and not wait. And those will be smaller type projects that have been identified here, just from a public safety standpoint. And that's really what this study is all about.
Correct.
Public safety, that we all agreed to ask for this grant. Was it last year?
It was actually in 2023.
Wow.
And you guys already actually approved it. And obviously, the administration changed. They wanted to revisit the grant, and they approved it again. So.
Thank you. Yep. Any other questions while we're here? Yes, Commissioner Scott.
Considering that Pinellas County is not only one of the deadliest places in the state to be a bicyclist or a pedestrian, but also the country. So I totally support this and would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Nowicki. And I guess, Commissioner Scott, with your biking and running all over the county, you might be a good sample of what you see every day, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other questions, comments? If you bring up the board. Oh, bring up the board on 6 through 8. We already had a motion on that, right?
We have, sir, we have a motion and a second on 6 through 8. We can have a voice vote for that. It's consent agenda.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Commissioner Peters. That is unanimous support. We will move on to our regular agenda, item number 9.
Good morning, Board. Item number 9 is the First Amendment to our 2020 interlocal agreement, which is among Pinellas County and all but, I think, 3 of our cities relative to the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, which we call NPDES, which is related to water quality monitoring and the assessment program that we are required to do under federal regulation. And as you'll see in the backup, this would extend the original agreement to December 31st of 2030. We've been doing that in 5-year increments because we have to update those permits
Thank
at
you,
those
Jill.
intervals.
Any questions for Jill? Motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Nowicki. Please bring up the board for vote.
And I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. And that's unanimous. We'll move on to item 10.
Item number 10 is a resolution dedicating a parcel that we own in St. Petersburg. We are housekeeping. We've built a sidewalk. We acquired the property, built a sidewalk. We want to dedicate it and identify it as right-of-way as opposed to a fee-owned simple property.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Nowicki, second by Commissioner Flowers. Any questions? Bring up the board, please.
And I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. And that's unanimous. Move on to number 11.
Number 11 is the interlocal agreement with the City of Pinellas Park for transmission, treatment, and disposal of wastewater for the city's wastewater service area. We have a long-standing agreement with the City of Pinellas Park to accept their sewage, basically, to treat and dispose of it. And they pay all costs, the city pays, and their ratepayers pay all costs that the county incurs, including administrative costs. The anticipated revenue for the first year, should you approve this, is $12.5 million that Utilities Fund receives in order to perform the service on their behalf.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Commissioner Flowers, second by Commissioner Scott. Any questions for Jill? You have a question? No. Okay, I'll bring up the board, please.
And I'm a yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. And that's unanimous. Move on to county attorney reports.
I have nothing, Mr. Chair.
No county attorney reports. County administrator reports.
Commission, I just take a moment to remind you that we did move our strategic our strategic planning meeting with you to next Thursday, the 12th. And so we're going to be prepared for that and ready to hear your great ideas and all the things that we'd like to focus on for the coming year. Just a little reminder, we'll be down at the extension offices, PCR admin, in the Magnolia Room.
And starting at 9:30.
9:30, yes, sir.
At the Magnolia Room down at the...
I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are at the commission comments and items that need to be brought up, and we'll start with Commissioner Scheer.
Thank you, Chair. First, just real quickly, there's an opening on the Feather Sound Community Services District. I would appreciate it if you would consider Sean Williams to be a nominee and approve him for that position. I've met with Sean. He's an architect, longtime resident of Feather Sound. I took some time to talk to him about his ideas for Feather Sound. I think he'd be a great fit.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Scheer. Did you have a move? Okay, Commissioner. Then yours was just general discussion. Commissioner Flowers on the motion, Commissioner Latvala on the second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Chris, continue.
Okay. On January 20th, I attended the Seminole Fire Rescue Department monthly meeting, and I filled in for our esteemed chief, who was not feeling well, and I was able to present our proclamation of the Antoine and Damon Day of November the 24th. Antoine Scott and Damon Dennis saved a family of 5 from a burning house. And it was good to go and make that presentation. I think it was well received, and it was good to spend time with the Seminole Fire Rescue Department.
Commissioner Scheer, thank you for being there. I really appreciate it. I couldn't be there for obvious reasons, but thank you for being there.
It was great. Thank you for sending me. On the 21st of January, I attended with Commissioner Scott, the 40th year celebration of the Palm Harbor Community Services Agency, known as FICSA. That was a great event. I got to spend some time with the board members, Erica, and John. And I just think that FICSA is a great example of what a CRA can do for a community. So I was happy to be there for them. And then on the 23rd, I spent some time with Matt Spohr and his staff, our staff, over at the 911 Fire Administration Building, trying to get a better handle on our problems with accounts receivable and these pre-authorizations and the monies that are owed to the county for ambulance transfers. So I got to do that. And on the 27th and the 28th, 29th, I enjoyed spending time with you and Commissioner Scott in Tallahassee. Thanks for letting me tag along. I learned a lot watching your presentations with all the other state reps, the Secretary of the DOT, and that was just a good experience. It's the first time I had a chance to go to Tallahassee and lobby for our legislative priorities, so that was good to do. And that is my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Scheer. Commissioner Flowers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have had a very busy last few weeks. First, I want to say thank you for the support of the National Council of Negro Women's 40th Annual Scholarship Activity and Event. It was a wonderful event, very well attended, sold out as normal. I want to say thank you to the city of St. Petersburg for selecting me to be the Grand Marshal of the MLK Day Parade. So that was a lot of fun. It was cold, but a lot of people came out, and so it was a wonderful time. And I know many others went to the festivities in North County. So thank you for honoring that day. I also had the beautiful pleasure of traveling to Tallahassee with the Florida Association of Counties for their legislative conference. As always, the secretaries of the various departments did come and speak with us. I was quite impressed with the secretary for the Department of Veteran Affairs, who is retired military himself from the Marines, but he provided some additional information regarding services for veterans. So what I will do is ask Darlena just to send that to your offices, so that way if you should happen to get calls from veterans and maybe they're looking for some additional support services, and if it qualifies in one of the categories, you'll be able to share that. I was also a little concerned about some of the changes that are going on through the Department of Business and Professional Regulations, because unfortunately we have people that like to make a living off of being a fraud. And so that just means that those businesses that are legitimate businesses have to jump through some additional hoops. But I do have some information I want to share with you all in that regard. And again, I'll ask Darlena to email that information to all of you. I had the chance to give testimony before the Ways and Means Committee regarding property tax. I did not do any harm to Pinellas County, I assure you. You can go watch it for yourself. But basically what I said was, you know, we want to work with the legislators when it comes to property tax. But we think it needs to be thoughtful, it needs to be mindful. We need to look at all of the aspects of what your homestead tax dollars go to versus any funding that may come from revenues that we get from our enterprise fund, because that's different. Those are dollars that are generated from a service. Those aren't taxes that are based on property tax. So just tried to be up there as a person to educate our legislators. I want to thank you for our delegation members that met with me. And some I caught running down the hallway, going between committee meetings. So I'm very thankful for having those opportunities. And I have received a few phone calls just saying, thank you for Pinellas County for the information that we've been putting out just to educate our residents so that they can make a choice if and when that proposal passes, however it looks when it passes. I attended my area agency on aging, Pinellas and Pasco meeting. We were very worried that the shutdown that occurred would interfere with some of the dollars that we provide to agencies that care for seniors. Hopefully, a vote will happen today that will cease the shutdown so that it will have only lasted a couple of days, 3-4 days, for specific departments. But so far, nothing has affected the Area Agency on Aging funding. And Congressman Bill Arakis, I have to say thank you for his continued support of us. I think I've shared here before that we're also looking at constructing housing specifically for seniors in Pasco County, affordable housing, because it's a need up there and we were having difficulty finding space. We think we've been able to find the appropriate space to begin construction. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. And I want to publicly say thank you to the Pasco County Board of County Commissioners for all that they've done to assist us in that vein. I'm supposed to go to Tallahassee this Friday. I was nominated and will be presented with an award from the law offices of Sean Pittman for my work in advocacy in four different legislative issues before the legislature. So that award will be presented this Friday at 11. I'm hopeful I can make it. I don't mind telling y'all I'm tired from driving back and forth up and down the road. I really am, and I'm losing my voice. But it's all for good work. It's all to represent the county and the constituents. I want to be there in person because for me that means a lot when, you know, you may not always agree with individuals, but they set up the time to meet with you and they listen to what you have to say and you listen to what they have to say. So it's a big deal for me. So pray my strength in the Lord that I'm able to drive up there and drive back. Of course, it's Black History Month, and you all know what I do during Black History Month. I wear African attire every day. And so every day that I come to a meeting or workshop, I will be presenting different attire. And what I will do going forward, if you all are interested, I can just give you the historic meaning of the various patterns because all of the patterns have a meaning, some kind of meaning. So I'm excited. I love every month, every day of the year that I'm alive, but I just like that. I'll be going to the National Association of Counties National Legislative Conference. I'm not sure if anyone else is going. Okay, in DC it's going to be cold. I'm hoping that the weather holds out for us. And I'm not sure, were you able to sign up for the tour at the Pentagon? Okay, and are you coming to the laying of the wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier? Okay, so thank you so very much for that. I appreciate that, and we are grateful for those opportunities. The work continues with Forward Pinellas when it comes to the merger. I know I've had my one-on-one with Whit. Others that also serve on that board may be having their one-on-one with Whit Blanton regarding where we are with the MPO merger. Again, a lot of conversations, but I'd rather have the conversations up front and get it right than to rush it and get it wrong. And so I do appreciate the time that we're taking to do this. And I appreciate my colleagues who also serve on that board as well, all of the comments and concerns that they've shared because they have been valid. But I think if we just continue to work together as a region like we've been doing, that we will begin to see our communities not only accelerate when it comes to economic development and coaching businesses to come here, but also for the quality of life services that we want to give our residents. Last but not least, thank you, Kim Burke, for sending us our final report for the Doe's report. He said in his preface that Pinellas didn't do so bad, and after I read through it, Pinellas didn't do so bad. But what I think that shows is what we've been saying as a team all along. We are good stewards of our dollars. We are working on behalf of the residents of Pinellas County. We are listening to them, and in areas where we have needs, we answer those, and in the areas where we can cut back a little bit, we answer that as well. And so thank you to all of the departments that had to pull together all of that data so that when they came here, it was there and it was ready. But that's what happens when you do your job and you do it well. So thank you to my colleagues, thank you to staff. That's it.
And that issue, the indexing gas tax
Mhm.
versus the 3 property taxes that we have in place, we're trying to make it very clear to our legislators when we were up there that there is a cause and effect. If you don't let us do what you do and preserve the capital that we have for our roads, then we have to solve it in different ways. And so our residents would immediately enjoy a millage rate reduction if we were able to do that. So we were trying to make those connections, whether it's educational or just a reminder, but yeah, I appreciate it. So what's the history to your
Oh,
outfit?
so this is when slaves were moving from one destination to another, trying to make it up north. There were a number of ways that they were able to know the path. Some of them couldn't read or write, of course, but they could either use the stars to lead them north. They could use river patterns that were braided in the women's hair, or they could certainly put in on their clothing, stitching on their clothing, the direction findings for going north. So today's pattern is, will be, or is the direction findings for going north. So the patterns go this way, and if I stand up for my dress, you'll see that the patterns continue to go down. And so that was just a direction finder to make sure that they knew the direction of going north, which was the path that others had taken safely.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Latvala.
Thank you for
Vice Chair
asking.
Latvala.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I attended my first TDC meeting. I toured Baseball City in St. Pete. I attended my final PSTA meeting and got a nice little plaque. And also, I don't want to put them on the spot, but I do have a very special constituent in the audience who has stayed for our entire meeting, and that is Carlos Brito. And he's not just a constituent, he's also a hero that many of y'all know. He is a Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputy who was injured in the line of duty a couple of years ago, and he's still recovering from his injuries, but it is an honor to have him join us today. Thank you for being here, Carlos. And even though he's a constituent, I'm not sure that I'm a fan of him serving in Hillsborough as opposed to Pinellas, so we may need to talk to the sheriff about that. And lastly, on my report, I still, thanks to our chairman, I still serve as our representative on JWB, and we are in the process of interviewing 3 finalists for the CEO position. And those 3 finalists are Mike McCurrack, Kevin Chapman, and Glenn Gilzine. All 3 are very capable individuals. And I am almost certain that y'all are allowed to discuss those folks with me, since that's not anything that we're gonna, I don't believe that that is breaking sunshine or anything like that. We vote on the budget, but actually, voting on for who I vote for CEO, I don't believe is a sunshine issue. If I am wrong, our very capable county attorney will throw something at me. So if y'all have a preference in those 3 gentlemen, please let me know. So.
That's right. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner, Vice Chair Latvala. Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So since the last time we met, we had a historic preservation board meeting where the board approved a historic landmark designation for the House of Seven Gables and the Plant Sumner House, I believe, which both were relocated to Heritage Village 50 years ago. And they have to be in one location for 50 years before you can apply for that designation. So that will be coming to us here, maybe at our next meeting for approval. And there will be a ceremony at Heritage Village, I think on March 27th or 28th to kind of formalize that. But just a little piece of history. The House of Seven Gables was donated by Don Williams, who is the father of Karen Seal, former Commissioner Seal. So just a little bit of history there. So just kind of put that on your radar and on your calendars if you can attend that. Had a really good meeting with Ken Grimes, Chief of Pinellas Suncoast Fire Rescue. Just really, first time I had met him, very, very down to earth, very committed to looking for cost savings and just different ways of doing business. And has a lot of private sector experience, and you can tell he's really just trying to take that experience and just try to, establish a different kind of culture and different way of looking at things. So that was a very, very good meeting, and I applaud all the efforts and work that he's doing.
Commissioner, I would second that. I had the same meeting with him and just found him to be very refreshing.
Yeah, very refreshing.
Yeah.
Just a different perspective on everything.
I think a value added to the
Yeah.
organization. So thank you for that comment.
Exactly. Had a great trip to Tallahassee last week with Commissioner Scheer, Commissioner Eggers, Barry, and Tristan and Anita. And I want to thank Tristan and Anita for all the hard work they did behind the scenes. I mean, we got into everybody we needed to see. They were informed. They had good information for us, and you can tell there's just a ton of preparation going on in the back end and every day. And Tristan, your weekly updates are like more information. It's like it's incredible to get through all that information, but I really appreciate you do that. And we had just really good meetings as well. Our first meeting was with FDOT Secretary Perdue and Justin Hall, and we had really three really important subjects to talk to them about: MPO consolidation, which they're totally in favor of, Dunedin Causeway, and then East Lake Road. And there's a real good conversation to be had on Dunedin Causeway. There's a trade in the works there. So really encouraged on that one, because we're never going to have $100 million to replace that bridge. I mean, we're just not. And then some good conversation on East Lake Road as well. And then probably one of the other, I would say, called better or more impactful meetings we had during the day was with Senator Broder, who kind of gave us his perspective on property tax reform. And we left that meeting, I think, with a understanding that, okay, they're really diving into this and they understand. I mean, he basically said, we've looked at 70 different ideas and they're all terrible. And so we're going with the one that has what we believe is the least unintended consequences. So at least they've taken a deep dive into this, and they're going to come up with something that hopefully is something that is impactful for the residents, but also something that local governments can live with. Let's see. Of course, Tampa Bay Days is always a good event. I attended the FIXA 40th year celebration along with Commissioner Eggers, so it's hard to believe that's been around for 40 years, but that was a nice event. And also last Sunday, I went up to Brooker Creek and attended the annual meeting of the Friends of Brooker Creek. So hats off to all of their great volunteer hard work that they do up there for Brooker Creek. This Saturday is the Lellman Hunting and Arts Festival. For all of you that will be maybe stop by and say hello there. That should be a good time. Hopefully the weather won't be too darn cold. And then I appreciate LJ Tucker coming out here this morning and speaking about the certified arborist. I'd like to just get a little information from staff on how that works out. And then finally, Renee, I love your outfits, and I appreciate the little history lesson on that, and please continue that. So I really, really enjoy it. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Commissioner Nowicki.
Thank you, Chair. Last week, I read to 4 different classes with the Early Learning Coalition and their Literacy Week. So I read the book, What is America? And at the end, each class recited the Pledge of Allegiance. So it was very exciting to see VPK kids already knowing the Pledge of Allegiance and their love for country. I attended the State of the Bay hosted by the Suncoast Tiger Bay. The mayors did a good job talking about the area. Bruce Rector, as always, did the best job, in my opinion. I attended a town hall in Wheelman with Amy Davis, and hearing concerns that residents have kind of about a lot of transient people in Wheelman. Also talking about that and the sheriff, he's been very responsive after the meeting, talking with residents there that aren't happy with, saying people are sleeping in the alleyways, a lot of drug use in the neighborhood. So, hats off to the sheriff that, after the meeting, he's taking a very proactive approach in making sure that, the residents don't feel like, prisoners in their own home, that, they can't even go outside. And Amy Davis did a great job as well. I did a check presentation with a resident in St. Pete. So again, as a reminder, you go to, Pinellas Recover to apply for all the applications that we have open. So I'm excited to get that video up today. And I met with residents in Tierra Verde yesterday with concerns over the new proposed, boat slip and the median. So, hopefully, staff, continues to work diligently for that median issue in Tierra Verde. I know that Tom's working hard on it, and, gonna deliver some good progress with that soon. And then I know on the 20th, we kind of sent out an email and gave everybody a paper about our comprehensive plan. So I just don't know if there's support for a workshop on our comprehensive plan. We got 2 new commissioners here that, and some commissioners on this board that didn't approve the last, comprehensive plan. So I just don't know if there's any appetite of this board to just have a workshop on our comprehensive plan, just to kind of give us an overall view of it. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Yeah, there's always an appetite for me to talk about the comprehensive plan for Pinellas County. It's obviously extremely important, though our brothers and sisters up in Tallahassee seem to take it on their own to change things at their will. But at least we should understand that motion, that work. We in fact, the last time we did it, we actually made a mistake up in North County and had to correct it, but it takes about 3 months to correct it. I was out meeting with a resident who's going to be across the street from this project that got in from a one house per 2 acres to 1 house per 1 acre in that little 4-month period of time. And they've got annexed into the city of Tarpon Springs because that's what they have. So it's very important that we understand those differences, and sometimes they're subtle, like an atom bomb subtle. They're really important. So anytime we can have that discussion, I think it's a good thing. So first of all, I want to thank Commissioner Latvala for chairing last meeting. Excuse me. Thank you, Commissioner Nowicki. Commissioner Peters, I forgot you. I apologize. Go ahead.
That's quite all right. I toured Pinellas Park with the city manager and with Ricky Butler, one of their council members. We looked at a lot of the storm drainage that is causing problems in Pinellas County, or in Pinellas Park, along the Brian Dairy corridor. And so the stormwater from Clearwater, Largo, and when DOT made changes on Brian Dairy, have caused some all that water, all is concentrating into Pinellas Park and causing some issues. So we're going to see if we can't get a meeting with the county and the city and see if there's something that we could do and work with Clearwater and Largo at the same time. So I think it's going to be really interesting. And if any of you want to take a look at that, it's worth it. Pinellas Park is doing some really amazing things. If you haven't gone to see the Chris Sproul's baseball facility that's being built out there, it is incredible, really incredible. What an asset for Pinellas County. The farm, the Patty Johnson Farm, is another incredible asset for Pinellas County. And so Pinellas Park is really rocking it. They're doing some incredible things. And it was a real pleasure to take the tour with the city manager and the council member. We also had a PSTA meeting. We're still working on purchasing a ferry, which is, we've had a couple of hiccups with the one in San Francisco we thought we were going to buy. Hopefully that'll get smoothed over. And Tampa Bay Water, as the news has reported, we put in some more water restrictions because of the drought. And I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Peters. Appreciate it. All right, I'll go ahead now. And just want to again thank Commissioner Latvala for chairing the last meeting. I'm figuring that any meetings over 2 hours, I'm going to turn it over to Latvala to run. I get the short meetings. I don't know what took you so long last time. Was it over 3 hours, for crying out loud? But thank you, sincerely. I appreciate that. And also thank you to Russ Kimball for helping me out on the TDC meeting that very next day. It was not fun being sick at all. I couldn't even do what Commissioner Peters was doing. I'm afraid even from that position, I might have spread something in the room. So I'm sorry I wasn't here, but again, thank you. I did want to say, I wanted to second your comment, Commissioner Scott, to Tristan and to Anita, Barry Burton, yourself and Chris and Commissioner Scheer for the trip up to Tallahassee with all of the people that we met with. Maybe with the exception of DOT, but all FDOT, we had the same messaging. It was kind of like being consistent, and Tristan was, he teed that up for us, and working so closely with Anita, their experience was, it was so evident, and they were so respected as we were walking the halls, you could just tell. So we've got a really good team in place, and your comment on the causeway was, I know you made a quick call, and along with Commissioner Cheney, I think, to the FDOT right on the spot, and they said that'd be something we were interested in. We kind of reinforced that at our meeting, and you're right, there's going to be some bartering going on about things that they want to give up in Pinellas County, but I think it's certainly worth exploring that for sure. And the comments that Senator Broder had, I wanted to echo those as well, because at least we came out of there feeling that there was an overlay of responsible discussion and a direction that we'd be going. So anyway, just before I get into a couple comments, remember that our picture is here, right, at 1:15 at the next meeting, 45 minutes early, so hopefully everybody can be there. Hopefully we can take this picture for this year before the end of the year. I'm partially to blame. We've had people missing. We want everybody to be there, obviously, so we're going to try for the next meeting. We had just a few things. Oak Senior Community Center ribbon cutting. I'm just saying a couple things probably that I could have said at the last meeting, but I wasn't here. Really nice project, affordable housing project down off of Ulmerton Road, and just a great turnout. And from what I understood, it was fully leased like 2 or 3 months into the construction of the project. So when they had we had the ribbon cutting for the opening, that was fully leased. It was just great energy, great partners on that. So just well-defined, well-executed, and really needed. In fact, there was a lady there that told her story, loves her family, but after 4 months of having to live with 3 kids, 4 animals, and it was like she needed her own place, and she finally was able to find a place that she could afford and working and all of that. So really good work. Again, I wanted to commend Commissioner Peters and Commissioner Scott, and obviously our Congressman Luna for the little bit of improved outlook for the work with the Army Corps of Engineers at the meeting last month. I was able to attend with my mouth taped over so that I could sit there and listen and not interrupt or actually have 2 commissioners in the same room talking. So Commissioner Scott, you did a great job at that meeting. Very encouraged. Of course, we got to get over the finish line still, but they started the meeting and you all have reported it. It was really a good meeting and optimistic. We had a K-9 photo shoot. I think that probably was up last time, but with Commissioner Latvala, we got him around dogs, which was just a great thing. We don't have to use the fake dog anymore. We can actually use a real animal. He was.
Still have the fake dog.
Yeah, you still have the fake dog. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I gave him a little bow tie.
Yeah, you did.
For a while, it was my cough pillow.
But yeah, well, that's important when you're recovering. But he was there at that Saturday, and right with the big blow up dog. I mean, he got right down on the ground. You saw some pictures. He was great. So contrary to his own animal, he's really a pro animal person. He loved being there with the animals. So just wanted to say thank you to Pastor Bell and the city of Dunedin for their MLK ceremony and their parade down. Some music, and a program as well. It was really good, and congratulations for being Grand Marshal in St. Petersburg, Commissioner Flowers. The Tampa Bay Water, I think I was going to mention the restrictions that's coming on the watering of our lawns, but also that there was a legal issue update with Polk County. There's a lot going on. It's kind of behind, kind of a confidential meeting at this point, and still trying to work through things. Two government entities going in a lawsuit, Polk County suing Tampa Bay Water. So that's kind of crazy. So we're kind of working through that. Hopefully that'll be taken care of. Was at the Palm Harbor Library fundraiser celebrating the importance of art in the community. It was a great event, lots of people coming out. They've probably been doing it for, I don't know, 10, 20 years at least. It's been a long time project, and raising awareness and a good community event. A lot of people came out on a Friday night for that. So commend the librarian, Matthew David, and all of his team for pulling that together. And let's see. Just as a quick update, I am having conversations with the superintendent of schools, with the sheriff, with Mike McCurrick over at JWB, and the whole Health and Human Services Board, future of that board. So I'm kind of going through all of those conversations, and probably we'll have a couple of conversations with school board members that are on that as well. But everybody seems to be kind of in lockstep that probably don't need that board. What I'm very proud of this county, whether it's the sheriff's department or legal folks, the school system, the county commission, if ever there's an issue that we need to address on an emergency basis, it takes a phone call, and we get a group of people together to deal with any of that issues. And so, anyway, that conversation is still ongoing, and as soon as I know something definitive, I'll let you know. Probably we'll take some action at the next meeting, whenever that is, but we'll be in touch before that just to kind of update you on that progress. So, I was going to talk a little bit about offshore drilling and all that. I did not get the language that I wanted to see ahead of time so I could see what it actually would be talking about. It's something that this community, you know, from one end of the county to the other, has supported over the years, the offshore drilling off the coast of Florida. Certainly, it's been a no-brainer in the past. We certainly have to protect our coastline, but we'll get into that discussion when we get that information. But again, that more to come on that. So, and then that is really all I had. Is anything else that I may have missed that you can think of? Okay. Yes, Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hey, just a quick comment on the offshore drilling. I think probably every elected official in the state of Florida probably got that email.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned with aligning ourselves with that particular group, but back in December 4th, our entire congressional delegation got together and wrote a letter to President Trump encouraging him to not violate the moratorium on banning on oil drilling in the Gulf. So I think we're in solid ground there to put something together. I'm a little concerned with that.
I shared that. Yeah. That's the one thing. Anyway, I think we pretty well stand together. I'm not saying everybody, but pretty much everybody in the state, elected officials. Glad to hear the Congress people doing their thing, and senators doing.
I'll send you the link to this.
Yeah, that'd be great. And
I
if
saw
there's
that as well, and I think something coming from us as a group, is appropriate.
Yeah, so we'll take a
If
look
that's
at
what
that.
we
Even
decide.
if what we do is support the letter that was sent,
Right.
I think that would be a statement enough. But try to do that at the next meeting. I'll let you all know that for sure. And try to get a copy of that letter so that we at least all see what we're talking about. Anything else before we adjourn? Okay, don't forget the pictures next time, 1:15 before the next meeting, and we are adjourned.